Abusuya Kennedy akompre kwa Japan one chairman wuntumi edi nkomo on Exim Bank sika 30 million Ghana cedis e okwaje ene ho nsensem aba. Na abusuya uti anu yi a chairman wuntumi edeto Kennedy akompre kwa Japan ani.
Na debi a meka kire se Kennedy Ohene Japan is a god. Mumihwe ni yi. Kennedy entu chairman wuntumi fo wanfanya adwuma. De enti ate sa ne se okọ Kennedy Japan hokọ kire ne nsem nyina kire ni wie no se krache asamato. Krache asamato. Hwe sika na wakọje no wanfa ni dwuma no. Enu ti fast ko bank fo no enkotenase se me nuanom me baji sika no de na nka me de koya me no nyina akọ ye no ma fa nye mafom moma memre na mintua ne kakra.
I'm not sure I have the full how do you call it, the full approval to discuss everything that went there, that discussion that went there. But I recall when Ken asked him about some of these concerns, even the first matter that we just discussed, and especially on the issue about the Exim, the response that Chairman to me gave then, I mean, it was a bit of concern to me about how his farms, the acquisition of the monies. I think they said it's around 30 million and around 30 million Ghana cedis, and the outcome of the farm. And it was a concern for me. I don't have his permission, neither do I have Ken's permission to bring the full details. But seeing the plea bargain, how do you call it, application, I am not so much surprised.
Ya chama wuntumi mo pese mo prevent ya in a way nipa di bone ofa oman sika ofa oman japade wa se oman ade wa bo oman se nipa we na se omra ne ne di a mo se da mo ntia ase mo pekwan bi afa so atwitwa age no se ya o enu ti na kanoforiata US sika kwotena America o shi sika ne wo so therefore se kanoforiata ba Ghana na yedi ni gina amra no MPP fo ya be kwotena form Sabe aso ma dwen adwuma ko transform es yenyini mpie na sabe nipa we no na se mo so mu den se suban we ye dia ye de Ghana hye mo nsem a e de na mbotimi aya ma Ghana
ha ayo official Atija TV or therefore ena me ne wo ahia yi menua Saudi Atija ne ka ho ana wa wie me kura ne ye bedi nkomo na debi a meka kire se Kennedy Ohene Japan is a god. Mumihwe ni yi. Sadi apostle kwa Joseph Ghana fons hunu so hwe. Timi edna dwen to so beye ka eye made in Ghana. Yan timi yenye leadership papa nti. Ye ja papa na mena wukro no. Kennedy Japan me say ye nya no ma ne nkoda. Obe serve the purpose to the fullest and san wo be kwa wako. Kennedy Japan after 2023 bra omo to abane yi ni free movie ye kura no na odaso to MPP fofo o to Chairman wuntumi fo he advised Chairman wuntumi na mekire wo de enti ameka sa asem no kwese kwaten wa ba bonten abeka a kire se Kennedy entu Chairman wuntumi fo wanfanya adwuma de enti ate sa ne se okọ Kennedy Japan hokọ kire ne nsem nyina kire ni wie no se krache asamato hwe sika na wakọje no wanfa ni dwuma no enu ti fast e ma ban nsesa ko bank fo no enkotenase se me nuanom me baji sika no de na nka me de koya me no nyina akọ ye no ma fa nye mafom moma memre na mintua ne kakra akwa wo yaso din en wo de tena ho anim se ba omi ebaweni na niama ya me na atua wo ka ba omi ebaweni na kwa kata bibia so ampanto ba omi vini 2024 en kasam no kodai enne kwasi kwate bia na no akansam na ye be kone akwa akohwe enu na me cho se Kennedy Japan mamu ye mfade ni agro enu ti waba base na obedi Kennedy achia se wo kita dwen bone dada no ayu hufrim me ka de akira mu wa wo ye official Atija TV fan me say stay tuned ewa ha enana wo ho ye wa channels bebre wo ho a mo hwa na mo koma ye mo ya so mo behwe mo ntom boase ne ye na ya so ne so no na me bebro video am de be bro bia no to boys na hwesi share video no ye kitam ne yenim ne ye nan siso yenim ne ya so ate ya no yen kan kire ya no ntie ntimi nka Kennedy Agyapong is coming. He's coming to take over. Now the way I wish constituency mobilization no said the niema e sheki koko hwa danse asokwa hwemi pa abe bum kama faswa why ne ye be hia no apostle nana da Kennedy be yi ni tiro niema be ye niema be jinsem mesrew bomode na support t-shirt no hwe enam ne ukasa ya yenua bi atimi aboa tete t-shirt a ye de ko ashama afra Kinshasa a ebeko na kwakosi ne so mesremu bunim si ye sande a ye twa ye koduru ho so ye twa ye chama members a ye twa ye de akyeremu enuti mesremu kro bi a ufri su bi afra number na edaso no o de fra number no ye be deliver no pepepe ba bi a wo pese ye mfanko hani na relugu ye de be ko ama ni akwakọ danadi wo ho ni ye de abekyerew nyame hyiramu a mu contribute today in a day out set t-shirt hunti mu amu yiyi nkro esi wose yen ye be yewe yen ye be yiwe nyame hyiramu be se mo bre nya kwada akora chama wuntumi asemu a ene afei na ba ba wie mu die yin Kennedy Agyapong tu fo na wamfa me se wa wo do nsa be ka na wrongly nyame tua woka ana wa obetu fo a wamfa no so nyame tua woka sa nipa we na chi ahweyi nana me pa cho fa wonte ho bra na me fa video no e me kira hwefo na fe yenko yemi
odefo me da se bebre masum na mekoso achia ahwefo tiefo da bibia wo na makoso asese mon support mon tayachi by say mo be subscribe na yakoyenim sabre mon ye koi eno na ema ya hoden yese aboa ne ntakra na yede
ema ne yekese
mo kan ye hono ne ye koyenim nti babi a ade no hye bia no ebe wura mu ne akwakoyi
e dia na obeto aso nipa efre me hye me nkran no vat buradwene ne ntiase so nipa efre me hye me nkran na ye hwe pa ya follow na nyame sham ana ye to aso
therefore nyame anim no kure ni eduru baby a aya na nipa ye nka no kure kakra ne wo bia wa no se wo kan wasem bia wo beka bia eye se nipa de seni an ne yaw na sei o my god na nchechire no enye bi na MPP for no show ne dan na di no enye se ne ye de chechire o man ho every say the MPP for ye nyina no kire se o man na nkasa daachi eni wo makomam na o man no nso daachi no emfo ho se wo hwe yewura Honorable Kennedy Agyapong a maybe kasa o kan enche bia oba abonten be kan poli. That's the first time for about 3 months 4 months ni wabeka politics baako o kan e wo say obi di bone na say ye ne ho adwuma ye mra ne ne di a aya mamu ntumrika enko ene munyi ne mra ena momfa ne enko ena hey o yes
afanyoma kesi o mani mo kwase
momwa o man chechire de mo ya acha ma wuntumi de mo ya chama untumi mo pese mo prevent ya in a way nipa di bone ofa o man sika ofa o man Agyapade wa se o man ade wa bo man se nipa we na se o mra ne ne di a mo se da mo ntia se mo pe kwa bi afa so atwitwa age no se ya o enu ntina Kaneforiata US sika kwotena America o shi sika ne wo so therefore se Kaneforiata ba Ghana na ye di ni gina mra no MPP fo ya be kwotena form sebe aso madwen nyadwuma kwotena form esi yenyini mpie na sebe nipa we no na se mo so mu den se suban we dia ye de Ghana hye mo nsem a e de na mbotimi aya ma Ghana eto therefore so wo hwemu a Honorable Kennedy Agyapong de onu no ohu ade traba bi anipa hunu because they say onu oburo nipa so because oburo nipa so anye se be we nipa che obi but say na nyame aye no the being of Kennedy se sia no wa traba bi anipa nkasa me fa za na moduru they say no why extra being so ata say ka say extra che say capabilities bi abeka ne ho normal human being no untumi lose up of friend saying position na ogina no enunti enye nwanwa se ohu ya o advise chama untumi na chama untumi arrogant e chama untumi mu no esodo do odefo Ghana me se chama untumi na ogina court mpo a ono anim si ye bua na fo ye bua ne de na kotum chama untumi hwene onenam a woye we dia dance pefese se chama untumi ye obi asabe mrantimi ni a odafo obefa Ghana to ne kon ho a nipa desani bia nya kwanya e wo Ghana ho chama untumi betimi afa Ghana e de ahye ni bottom nipa desani bia ni obetimi nya kwanya ehudie Ghana mpo etie because nia oye mpo no e kire ne su ene ne ban eni to therefore ene ba bi ade na duro no enye nwanwa se enipa ni bi anase Dr. Mahmoud Bawomi anum ne namase ebe so mo twi on abo Canada Japan be wura mu se so longer ono we say watra human being ba bi a human being say human being eduru no ono watra ho no ono ne nipa obetimi atwitwa age chama wuntu
ono so de kan tufu wamfa yes asem na o kan ne plea bargain no ho o say de kan bra obetira asem no mo kira na no say matter why mistake ade we wo betima kira
me say
enti kwana kode
we chama wuntu
e da do akonya court
o me say ebra ye di kan che chama odafo ebra di kan che chama wuntu first time ye che chama wuntu me Ghana for munsori o na munti na ebra yo ye munti o NPP for NDC for ye me say yo ye chi ni kotum no odafo Canada Japan ne Brian Champon ene ko yi no se na unnimu da ye Brian Champon din na beda so but Canada Japan ne Brian Champon odafo omumienu
fence video na me
odafo omumienu ene kabo mu ko yi chama wuntumi omuyi ni wie ya pe eno se ko bie ni station no etumu ma abronye na abronye twabo no therefore etine no sebe ofrene se Canada Japan sebe o just onye nipa kura no therefore enti papa we no sebe emoja bi nini mu ana enu ndi sa ko friend na de asisi ne de amode aye ni nyina no se wo sa especially chama wuntumi aje damna edinatem ohene ba edinatem abronye edinatem akwa bi omo se ofre na o se de
so ono nso so okope secretary
akwa bi nso ono nso
e odwa ayi fence asanchi atem
akwa boy bi so ono nso NDC for chi ni tumu na anu ya na o se ono no o hero mu nyina hwe nipa ya mabobo mu di nyina e chama wuntumi u station e de di Canada atem on na se be ye de na nipa we amunim so capabilities say yetimi di na tam say ne pasa say personally mu yi ni si ho personally na mo say no ko kanimu nyina kina tam awuntumi station so ene yam Canada Japan na sebe sebu bie mu anu mpofa kire se Canada mramu ni yetimi twitwa nyi chama awuntumi a yangopo aka tuo de be masa nkrofo no odafo ebi ensida edunti sesi ane de ye nyina ya ntwen chama wuntumi wasen Ghana wabo Ghana bro enu ntino okodam enu de ye nyina Ghana ye nyina ye nyintum na odafo seme ka bi kakra I don't know but audience o nti be show video na u show video ni wi a e bi akakra me woda me de tato
yanko hemra na fa no beta to ma me.
But before that, you see, I wasn't surprised. I saw this coming. I remember when Chama Wuntumi was detained by Yoko, and party functionaries and party folks were trying to meet his bail conditions. I think it was Brian who stood surety for him. At that time, even Ken was also working very hard to stand surety for him. So when he came out, he came to these very high-profile individuals who had attempted or assisted him in diverse ways, just to say thank you to them. And this conversation came up. But of course, I'm not sure I have the full, how do you call it, the full approval to discuss everything that went there, that discussion that went there. But I recall when Ken asked him about some of these concerns, even the first matter that we just discussed, and especially on the issue about the exam, the response that Chama Wuntumi gave then, it was a bit of concern to me about how his farms, the acquisition of the monies. I think they said it's around 30 million and around 30 million Ghana cedis, and the outcome of the farm. And it was a concern for me. I don't have his permission, neither do I have Ken's permission to bring the full details. But seeing the plea bargain, how do you call it, application, I am not so much surprised, especially with the prior knowledge or with the hindsight that I had. For me, let me hasten to add that, like I indicated, I'm a Ghanaian first. and taxpayers' money ought to be protected. There should be accountability. You see, if it was a case, initially I thought it was a business gone bad. You know, there can be instances where a business probably may go for loan to undertake certain venture in terms of whatever business that he's doing, and probably may have a challenge in paying that loan. I mean, those precedents exist where banks may even declare bad debt. Those ones can happen. You go for a loan, you be unforeseen contingency, and then you are struggling, and sometimes you go for plea bargain to pay. But in this particular context, the charge that was pressed against him was a charge of fraud, which makes it quite very peculiar. In this case, it's fraud, and this is accused person saying that, well, look, I want to plea bargain. Essentially, it's a code way of saying that, well, I agree, I want to plead guilty, but let's settle it. And I think that as a country, also going forward, broaden the conversation about recovering, monies that has been embezzled or that has been misused, whether by state officials, politically exposed persons, civil servants, or other things. Probably we should also be thinking also quite progressive, because I don't see the reason why, assuming without admitting that Wontumi had gone to trial and probably been convicted and serving a number of years in jail, and the state will still be taking care of him at whatever prison that he is, whilst probably he is pocketing this amount of money. So for me, I think it's the step in the right direction. Bring back whatever you've taken. You said you were going to use it for farms. Now the charges that has been pressed against you is that those monies were not used for purposes.
But as a political party, what does this admission mean? I mean, he's running to be chairman of the NPP. I mean, this is.
I think it is not really even a matter of political party. First of all, he's an adult; he can make decisions for himself. But it has.
But to the extent that the party had accused the government of engaging in.
It's not really about accusations.
Witch hunting.
No, it's not really about accusations and all that.
They are prosecuting one of your
let me answer you in relation to the question about his chairmanship. You see, when you enter a plea bargain, before the judge will adopt it and make a conviction and make sentencing, you must also then plead guilty before the judge convicts you. So if you are criminally convicted, there is also a consequence to it in terms of even the general constitution when it comes to your eligibility to certain higher office and certain positions. And you know, trickle down to even our respective party constitutions when you are convicted. Because as soon as you say plea bargain, I am guilty of this ABC, I'm not going for trial, I'm going to return ABCD. The judge then gives a sentence. That is a conviction itself. So right now you'll be treated as a convict, and in that particular instance, it will obviously has an impact, a consequential impact on your eligibility to certain higher offices, whether it's with respect to a political party, it's in respect to association, it is in respect to the general public office. Okay. And I'm sure those decisions, I don't think I have the permission of the party. I've not been briefed upon. Those decisions will be taken by the party, or maybe chairman himself may advise himself accordingly. He is an adult.
Okay.
Usiantie Ebo Backman nensem odi tudwa efa visitor MPP for mpanifo ayo madwen so mokwa akho John Dramani Mahama na Chairman Wontumi ni case no ya tete nwama so dia ma no.
Yeah, let me say, I've seen a statement that has been that is attributable to a UFRE that MPP elders plan courtesy visits to President Mahama to seek pardon for Wontumi. If this is true, and this coming from an MP is quite disturbing. If this really came from a UFRE, a good friend of mine, then it is quite disturbing. Why do they want to create the impression that what is happening in the court of law is being manipulated by the president, or is being done to favor the president? Is this necessary? A member of parliament putting up this kind of information. So if tomorrow Wontumi is put behind bars, so to speak, it means it is President Mahama who did it. This is the kind of impression I want to create in this country, that will not allow the laws to work, will not allow the courts to work, such that if somebody has done something untoward against the state and the law is working, it should be said that perhaps the president's hands is in the case. You see, let's put things in perspective. This has nothing to do with things that Wontumi said at President Mahama. Why? When Wontumi allegedly was in the forest destroying things, where was President Mahama? So you see, I don't like it when people want to create that impression, and it shouldn't come from a member of parliament. You see, any country that has developed, even presidents are sentenced into prison. Sarkozy was he not sentenced into prison for 5 years? In this country, venerable Chachuchi Kata didn't he go to prison? So what are we talking about? All of a sudden you become a party member, a party executive, you have a case, it should be treated differently by the court. In fact, if Agyapong's one of his problems is that the judge is fast tracking the case, I dare say that we need that kind of judges in this country. We need judges that will be fast tracking cases, elite corruption cases, so that we can get results as quickly as possible. I'm so excited that this judge in particular is fast tracking the case. I would plead with other judges to also fast track cases. If you have a country where at the moment you have over 100 corruption related cases running in our court, when are you going to finish them if you are to delay the cases? So what is the argument? I read something that something that is attributable to him, Andy Apiakubi here. He said something, and I want to read it. I think paragraph 14 of something that is attributable to him. He said that I know the outcome of this case will not be the end of this matter, and I believe that justice will be better served on a better and more equitable platform with cooperating actors. I mean,
what does that mean?
What does that mean?
It's an attack on the judiciary.
Yes, this is a clear case of attack on the judiciary.
I quoted what I quoted.
Like you said, what, cooperating with actors.
Yes.
And
But if the judge is fast tracking the case, why would you say that the judge is not cooperating?
Let's take it one after the other. He says that I know that the outcome of this case will not be the end of this matter.
Yes.
I mean that's a statement of fact in the sense that it can go on appeal.
Yes. Let's go further.
Then he says that and believe that justice will be better served on a better and more equitable platform.
On a better, which one is not better?
With more.
I mean,
that's where your problem is.
Yes. No, how can you say this?
That platform could be the court of appeal.
How can a lawyer say this? No, how can a lawyer say this?
The platform.
Why should these things be allowed in this country? When people still go, and they steal mobile phone, and we jail them 10 years, 15 years. We have people who plunder this state in millions, and when their case comes, they should be treated differently. Now, what is the meaning of equality before the law in this country? So I'm excited that the judge is fast tracking the case. I urge him to do that, and urge other lawyers also to judges to do that. We have a country to build. We don't have political parties to build. We have a country called Ghana to build. And so some of these things, the tactics, they can do whatever. The most important thing is that if he's not done anything against the law, he will walk free out there. But if he's done something against the state, the law must be allowed to take its natural course. That's how we can build this nation. We are not here to pamper politicians at the expense of this country. Together, all of us are building this nation. People are behind bars. If you go to Nsawam, ask them what they did. They stole somebody's goods. They stole somebody's mobile phone. They are serving 10 years, 8 years in prison. Do we have special human beings with special blood flowing in them?
Hey, why are you making it look like the guy is guilty?
No, I'm not saying so. I've already stated that if he's found to have not done anything against the state, the law will allow him to go.
Okay.
The law is not an answer word that catches you and doesn't want to leave you. If you are free, the law will let you go. If you are not free, let's have you, so that the state would also benefit from whatever we are doing as.
Eti wa say nana ensem ni bi wo ha o te de ayikwati kwati wo say I am not allowed to speak. And on to me ensem so, but ensem na ma kire wo mu no. Ken e kind of point blank at the children as a crache. Why mistake? Utimi nkwaje sika se me de koye wei na fabu wa fa nkoye. Na wanya yes lawyers de wo benya bia mo mata wachi se ne wo kire mu kire no no ni obaye. Nana ne asie no eti mo obi ntina baabi nka ne ope ne wonim mo obi ntina baabi enne mo san fa kire kohu no se won san mre mu no oba mu ebeyi emma mu na ba mu kina ya ma okwan kra no wahunu no se wo mu sniki yeso mo okona amfa ya hunu baabi akra nana fo anu siba me. But before that no mesra hwefo constituency mobilization number na da ho no mo de na mo no me na t-shirt no yentime ntom pete ba bia senye t-shirt ho asem ya yenua ya wo US nso support ya enka ye hunu adanse asokwa edom esum ho sa a wo mata base achi menua ye ni abrepa voter region frey eastern region frey Ashanti and ye da so one greater crown so frey etimada Roma where western and central so frey ye ni abrepa ntemomoy ni enya t-shirt no enough na yemfa enko na twaso mame
oda for me di wie no ma asem nyina ne se kwasi kwa atem mo nka wo ho bia mo ma ubia wo ye Ghana ni po a sebe Ghana ye de Ghana na atwa afuruma o blood e Ghana blood no enwe jese wo de entete en high asem ni nyina ne se owura Honorable Canada Agyapong no MPP fo ato ne pahwi se woni MPP fo ni asem bia nti se MPP fo nya omu case a omanko face omu case na menim se owura Honorable Canada Agyapong there's no way oba be so Ghana konwa abanwanum na wasua ya wie na chama untumi dajera obekoso okoyi chama untumi ebi nsida odafo me de manuasi
with all the evidence I will know I can create him insida abusiafo yedemo esi ha subscribe to the channel na share efama ye ma ye ndwumadie no entachew na ma a lot of people enya advice ba kwa me de ma won say we base ni ana wo dwene Ghana wo ye Ghana ni papa dia but mo de na follow channel we na ye number say share you